All right, we're here at TFDI. I'll be making an announcement very shortly, so let's turn the camera around and wait to see what happens here. Should be announcing something about Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Oh yeah, they come with, they all come with a little. Do you need a phone holder? I hope the company.
No, I got this. Now we wish. Good.
You got it on life. Put on
All right, I guess I'm trying to coordinate starting at the top of the hour and then slow it down. I'll keep my 6 feet from everybody, but I'm taking it off so you can hear me. All right, hello everybody. I am Colin with TFDI Design, or now in Vernix. I've got a couple of things to talk about today. I will make sure I don't build the hype too much. It's not a new plane, but it's not too far off in the sense that let's talk about Microsoft Flight Simulator. So we've been working on the MD-11. We spent the last couple of months spending a lot of time actually with the help of Ricardo and our team to try to make that possible. And I'm going to give the big news first. We're here to announce that the TFDI Design MD-11 will be in both P3D and MSFS day one. We're doing total tandem support for both. As of right now, we'd like to say we're about 50 to 60% of the way through it. So we've got the FMC working, we've got all the onboard systems working in MSFS. It's there. We got a little bit of stuff going on with the display technology, but I'm going to pull up the actual sim here. It looks fantastic with the PVR and all that stuff going on. It's going to take it a second, let that all open up. But the MD-11, we're also going to announce a couple of other things officially. I've been kind of talking about them throughout the show. So, failures, doing a failures pack. Thanks to the awesome coding job that Ricardo has done on the systems, we have the ability to do something that was not possible in the 717. Abnormal procedures, circuit breakers, all kinds of things that aren't in most of the commercial simulations on the market we're going to have. So you want to have a single display unit fail, you want to have a system overload and pop a breaker, and all of that failure cascade to the rest of the airplane. That's going to be possible. We've of course talked about the freighters and all that stuff. That's still going to be happening, the freighter and cargo versions, but get that full screen here. But the TFDI Design MD-11 is going to be a beyond study level commercial simulation based on both simulators, MSFS and P3D, day one. That's the big news for that. We've also got some stuff to talk about with PAX and Smart Cars 3 for our users of our VA world here. So PAX I'll make nice and quick too. Biggest request, we kind of touched on this in one of our live streams, but it's now underway. We're going to have a whole host of new voice packs, different accents, different dialects. We're going to try to make PAX as global as we can. We started it with the names, now we're going to do it with the voice packs. And the best part is we don't actually have to sit physically in front of you to record it anymore. So if you're a flight attendant, if you are a voice actor or actress, you want to help us out with that, reach out. We're going to try to get as many of these in there as we can. We're talking 10 or 20 new sounds. That's going to be a whole new way of listening to PAX. It's going to give it a whole new life and make it feel a lot more at home. I probably should have done the MD-11 last with the loading time, but well, we'll get there.
You would question why you were doing Microsoft Flight Sim.
Well, that was it. I'm like, if I open that first, it kind of spoils the surprise. And then finally, Smart Cars 3. I know we've kind of dangled that carrot for a little bit. We went quiet for a while, and the reason we went quiet on that is we are trying to turn Smart Cars 3 from an application into a platform. And with Smart Cars 3, that begins. So all of the limitations that we had in the past, when we had to say, oh, one VA doesn't want this, or it's too specific, all those limitations are gone. Smart Cars 3 has been quiet because we built an engine for it to run on. Not as of right now, all of the first-party functionality that we've made in Smart Cars 3, which I'm going to show you here in a second. It's cross-platform. It's Mac, it's Linux, it's Windows. Let me get this open here. So the UI, as always, everything we've done at this show is very much a work in progress. Textures are unfinished, UIs need tweaking. Probably going to have to guess my login
UI
information
scale
here.
is way off.
Yeah. And there we go.
Where'd you get that joint from?
And if you have my phone, so you have my last pass.
Maybe wrong.
So, gotta love logins. So if you can get my password for SCDC5 off of that, we'll get a login here in a second. I can talk about the technical background in the meantime. So Smart Cars 3, everything is a module. You can install and customize anything. A VA, if you want to make a nice new module that's a specific booking system for your VA, that's fine. You can do that. If you're a community that wants to have a whole custom interface just for your flight tracking, you can do that. You don't like any of our features, take them out and put your own in. We can add stuff, you can add stuff. The Smart Cars environment is now going to become a self-sustaining platform. That's going to be huge for a lot of the VAs that are currently unable to use Smart Cards due to the fact that they have custom things that just don't work with our workflow. That's not a problem anymore. They can integrate in, take advantage of our work, and bring the best of their work and their creativity to it. It'll integrate with the packs, of course. It's going to be a much more all-inclusive solution. We'll be able to figure out that password so I can show some of the... I have to go off frame. Get really close to the camera here.
I turned the camera off for a second if you want to go ahead and just...
Gotta love it.
Hashtag demo accounts.
I know. Security though. Yeah,
Admin 123.
oh, it's one of these. Great.
The first integration with packs and smart cards, won't it?
What's up?
This will be the first kind of integration with packs and smart cards, right?
So we have an integration right now.
We can't hear you. Put in the password, then turn around.
So what Colin's trying to say is that there is some basic integration between packs and smart cards. So it will read from smart cards, pick up the flag in. It loads already stripped into packs anyway. But with the way that the smart cards is being written with the API and everything done through the API, it's much easier to integrate packs and other add-ons to smart cards. So whether it's things like you can integrate with other developers, add-ons like exterior sim, even integrate with aircraft as well. How do you deal with this?
Yeah, so something that we're pushing for across all of our products, we are trying to get to universal platform support. We are trying to switch from the single-use, single-instance application and code that's going to get, released and then redone somewhere else. We're switching away from that. We're also trying to get everything to be as seamless as possible. So minimal installation, minimal configuration, maximum expandability and customization. We're seeing the result of the shift in that paradigm in the MD-11. We have the ability to run it, as we've seen in some of our live streams, completely outside of the simulator. This is actually connected to MD-11 code right now, the same code that runs in your sim. There's nothing running. This is just us. We could put that in MSFS. All that code that drives that also works in MSFS. It works in P3D. It's the same code. We've managed to pull 90% of it out of the sim. That's what's allowing us to do this, and we're working at least 50% faster as a result of that. The same concept works for smart cards. We're building a system that works for everybody, and if it doesn't, it can be made to work for you without it affecting anybody else. Let me pull up smart cards here, show that. I want to give a shout out to Giorgio and Tian. They're both members of our team that have done a fantastic job. So here we'll show an example. Of course, it's resizable. Those of you that know smart cards do, I'm sure know the small window it's forced to be in. So let's say here, let's say we want a messenger app. We'll just go ahead and then we have a very familiar looking message system that we just installed. And that can be first party, that can be third party, that can be your VA's chat, that can be whatever you want. You download it real time and install it. So, like I said, as a company, we are pushing for a much more inclusive ecosystem for all of our software and services across the board. That means localization. We're getting PAX, global voice PAX, PAX accents. We're getting the MD-11 across all current, everything from P3D before up to MSFS. We're getting smart cards as a platform to replace the rather dated current iteration of it. And all these things are going to talk to each other. We're looking to do CPDLC. We're looking to do A-cards integration with the MD-11. All of these platforms that we're building are going to work together to create as seamless of an environment as we can across as many platforms as we can. So I think we've got a few minutes for questions here. I think Josh, you got some right after me at 1:15, so we've got about 5 minutes for questions. Oh, it's 1:30. Great. All right. Oh, and of course, I don't know how I forgot that. I'm not immune to being a little nervous.
We want to get this on all the cameras. Oh, it's loaded, so.
I'll have to run through that. I also have to say thank you to everybody who came out to see us today at the show. This is quite the turnout. It's really nice to see everybody back in person. It's been too long. So, as always, a shameless plug. We do have a discount on all of our products here at the show, and if you're online, we have a 10% off everything. So, now's the time if the stuff we're talking about excites you. Build this, and we'll pull up the MD11 now. The cockpit of the MD11, it looks fantastic. The PBR and the shading in MSFS is awesome. The MCDU is about twice the size it's supposed to be and shoved off to the side. That's been about my experience working with the SDK and MSFS so far. There it is. So let that load. What we're showing off here is more the exterior. You're going to see a piece of the MCDU. I can't stress enough that everything we're showing here is work in progress. So the fact that there's anything at all showing, for that to appear, it means the entire technology stack behind it is working. We've had displays in the sim, we've had the PFD responding to input, we've had buttons responding to input. I'm going to click through the MCDU in the limited way that we can, just so if anybody has any doubts, they know we're not. It's not just a pretty picture, but we are very close. We are over the hill in a lot of areas now. We've got the technology to develop in the next couple of months to get a more universal platform for us, but I would expect to see a lot of progress very, very soon. We're painting things now. The models are basically done. We're animating things. This plane is really going to come to life a lot in the next 3 to 6 months. Do not hear that as a release date, but we're going to see a lot of progress and a lot more hands-on. Well, you know, I made the mistake with the 717 of promising a date because I got into the hype. I'm not going to do that this time. We learned from that mistake, and the goal of this is that we're going to come out of the gate swinging with an absolute knockout of an airplane. So, here's the cockpit. MCU is off altogether. We were messing with the displays last night. It likes to make us rebuild it 15 times before it works sometimes. But what I can show... What's up? At 1:30. Yep. So we've got that. So I can get some flaps down. The MCDU is off right now. We were trying to do some debugging last night, and unfortunately, my tools are very limited, so it's broken at the moment. But that's about the process we've dealt with. We do have a pretty solid understanding now of the MSFS SDK, and I think we're going to have a much easier time going forward from here. But we are very excited to hopefully bring you a lot more functionality and features in that very soon. Anybody questions on anything we talked about so far, or anything a little further into anything?
Upgrade path for existing smart cars customers.
Okay, so existing Smart Cars 2 customers, the product line is changing. I'm not sure what it will be called yet. It will not be a 100% free upgrade to Smart Cars, whatever the next iteration is. It's been named Smart Cars 3 for now, but it's been a ground-up rewrite of the entire ecosystem from scratch. But we're still going to give a discount to existing customers no matter what. How much, I don't know yet, but it will be enough to make it worth it.
I have one question. Is it being developed exclusively for MSFS?
Nope, we are doing tandem development on all of these products for MSFS and prepared version 4 and 5. There's the possibility of us backporting it to FSX, but that's not a priority. If it happens, it happens. If not, it won't. But we have this new platform that we've developed that's our own in-house. It allows us to spend 90% of the airplane code outside of the sim. We no longer have to build it for a certain sim, we just build the plane.
Just to clarify, the 717 is not planned.
So the current iteration of the 717 has reached its end of life. Now, that's actually good news in the respect that it it can move into the done phase, and that opens up the pathway for future iterations of it. So all of this technology that we're building, all of these avionics, this whole avionics suite that we've built, this whole host environment that we've built to allow us to build planes faster and better, there is no reason we can't use that to turn around and create an updated version of the 717. It will require code modification. It would be a different product, potentially like the smart car thing, where there'd be an upgrade for people that had the older version. But I can't see why at some point down the line we wouldn't want to do that.
I'm sure having the similarities between the two types helps make that easier.
There's a lot of overlap between the two, and going into the MD11 with the experience of the 717 behind us, we're going to be able to reuse a lot more in the future, and I think you'll see that reflected in our product catalog.
And a question about that update, the 717, are you going to be doing it XPlane as well?
As of right now, XPlane is not planned for the immediate list of platforms. Although it is now, I guess, a technical possibility. There's a lot of great products in XPlane, at least in the MD11's area. There's one being developed that we have no intention of competing with. And the 717 bringing it to XPlane is a little different than the P3D and even the MSFS workflow, and that would be a little more difficult, although technically possible. It's not in the immediate plans. Yes?
When can we see it on Xbox?
Xbox. So, I don't want to make promises I can't keep. I know Ricardo and I have talked about this. I want to try to make the Xbox happen, but at the moment, that's a pipe dream for myself. I don't know that we're going to actually be able to accomplish that in a meaningful way. The most important part of this is being able to deliver a product that feels like it belongs on the platform that you're working in, that is at a price point that is appropriate for the platform that you're on. And I think we may struggle to check those boxes on the Xbox just due to the positioning in the market. But we're going to do our best, if it's technically possible, to offer something compelling there too, even if it's a potentially modified or light version of one you would fly on PC.
Can you elaborate briefly on some of those challenges to getting it to Xbox? So some of us might not know.
Right now, so the MSFS SDK, I mean, we've looked into Xbox a little bit. So how different is it? This is Ricardo. He is my MSFS expert, so he's been helping me with a lot of the stuff here and making it happen. So I'm going to bring you in to help me a little bit about answer this question.
Well, Xbox is a little bit different. I think if we talk about interaction with the simulator, just like we don't have the very same. You just have a controller, right? So we need to redo some of the stuff for working inside Xbox. User interaction mainly.
And the debugging process is going to be a lot different too.
Yes.
Unlike a regular PC where we can sit here with Visual Studio and all the tools you would normally have, we're kind of working on a pseudo-embedded environment. It's still Windows at its core, but it's not the same as being able to run it on here. So there's a lot more hoops to jump through, and something about using a thumbstick to click 45 switches on pre-flight I don't think would be as intuitive. So we are in talks right now with Turbine Sound Studios. They did a fantastic job for the 717, and we're doing everything in our power to make something happen for the MD11 as well. So far, it's looking pretty positive. So all things going right, we'll be able to work with them to create a really compelling sound pack for the MD11 for both engine variants as well.
And speaking about both engine variants, for the sim variants, because the new sim has a different sound engine entirely. Is there going to be any type of, is that going to be like two separate sound packs, one for P3D and then one specifically for, are they?
The sound structure in 2020 is different. It's different than we had in P3D. So we definitely will create all the variants for PWs and DGs in 2020 and also in P3D. So yes.
There's some crossover, but if it's like the rest of the crossover so far, I anticipate there being changes specifically to support the new sim. But we're prepared to do that to make sure that we achieve the universal support we're aiming for.
And you said it's like going to be like study level, the MD11?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely unequivocally study level. There will be no doubt about it. I know the depth that we've gone to so far is going to make the 717 look simple by comparison.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to like a Bible to read.
If you really want to get into the nitty-gritty, you will have to dig into the books. Absolutely.
Okay, sounds good.
Absolutely. All right. Anybody have anything they want to add? Any other questions? Or I love this. I know we live for this, being able to be part of the community and really get involved. So
saved a lot of money by not switching to Geico.
15 minutes didn't save you $15.
No, it did not save me nothing.
Your 717 is going license.
Oh, yes, and of course the final finishing touch on the MD11 announcement here. We are currently pending the final signature with Boeing to make the MD11 a Boeing officially licensed product. So at the rate we're going, it will come out of the gate as an OLP. So that just further adds to the level of depth that we're going to with the product.
Awesome.
Good catch.
Do you have any plans after
I can't do it. So we basically, we're going to reach a crossroad after these products that are on the market right now, where we have to decide if we're going to go and do legacy and potentially look at DC9, DC10, or if we're going to go hyper modern. Because of the mainstream market of 717 to 787 range products has been done. There's already developers with really strong contenders in most of those areas already. And as our reputation has always said, we don't really like to step on people's toes or redo somebody else's work. We want to create something unique and that fills a hole. So that doesn't leave a lot of choices in the mainstream market. So we'll decide as we get a little closer to the end of the MD11. We'll take some input from the community as always to decide if the legacy or hyper modern route will be the right route for us. But we've got some options on the table.
What would be an example of something hyper modern?
CSeries, E220, stuff like that. Things they're just rolling out now.
Cool. A220, please.
Yes. They are very challenging technically because they are so new. The amount of information out there is much less than some of the older aircraft. And that's something we have to factor in these plans too, is that will slow down our development significantly if we're not able to get that level of data that we have now.
You've got a preference that you'd rather go classic or would you rather go modern?
I was a 737-300 fan as a young teenager and adult, so I've always got a soft spot in my heart for the half glass, half analogs. But I'm also now a flight computer programmer for TFDI, so I'm okay with either one. All right, so does that everybody have anything else they want to add, or?
I was going to ask that if you were to do the market would be like that, because
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing you.
okay,
Yell at me.
so yeah, when it comes to the legacy markets, do you believe that there is a huge growth for that? Because there are a lot of old planes that people really never touch when it comes to simulators.
I think there's two schools of thought. I've seen it a lot. People fly what they see. I've heard that said by the developers, and I agree with that to some degree. That if it's an aircraft that people are flying on to go on holidays and to go see their family or whatever it is, they're more likely to want to simulate that flight. So I think there's a lot of focus on the modern aircraft because of that. But on the flip side of that, you get to a certain level of old, and it's now retro. It's cool, and that's a niche all by itself. It's hard to say because I think it's really on a per aircraft basis. So that's one of the things we'll do when we get a little closer is we'll kind of select a few, and we kind of did it with the MD11. We almost took a bit of a vote, and it was overwhelmingly popular among the choices. We'll do the same thing when the time comes, and we'll pick a couple out of ones that we'd like to do and see if there's interest there to make sure that we're delivering something to as many people as possible.
In terms of 2020, is PAX be working?
Yes. PAX currently fully supports Microsoft Flight Simulator, XPlane, P3D, FSX, the whole slew of them. It will continue to do so for the foreseeable future, given that nothing changes technically in the simulator.
So obviously PAX is a Windows application right now. Are you looking at doing the same thing that you did with smart cars and making it multi-platform in the future?
For PAX, likely not, due to the fact that its current platform just doesn't support it. But if we were to make a new version of it, we would likely be aiming for cross-platform. It's the way to go. Alrighty, awesome. Well, I'll give everybody, we got about 5 minutes here between shows, so we're going to probably wrap it up. I want to thank you all again for coming out to hang out with us, and if you're here in the show and if you're watching online, thanks for giving us 20 minutes of your day. Hopefully one of the things we talked about is exciting to you, if not all of them. We're looking forward to delivering some really cool stuff to you guys in the next months to year or two here. Well, thank you all. Thank you, Ricardo, for sitting up here and helping me out. Brianna and all of our 7 photographers and streamers we've got here today. It's awesome to see, and enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
We're gonna play around with it?
Absolutely. Come on in. You're not going to get a lot out of the cockpit in 2020.
So I got here late. Did they do a landing or something? What was on the TV?
It was
MD11 and Microsoft Lightning.
No, I know. We're just doing exterior.
No, yeah, just exterior.
Okay.
So the cockpit is working. We've got all 6 screens and the MCDU and P3D right now.
Okay.
The same code is working. It's there.
Look at the reflections. Look at
It's
the lighting.
frustrating that we can't show it to you right now, but give us a month and you'll see it.
Month to release, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. This will be like the E-Jet joke.
Oh yeah, it'll be Tuesday.
I'm sorry.
Hey, you know what though? The fact that
it's always
it's
2
in
weeks.
2020 is a nice surprise.
No, that's not the only one.
That was, I didn't know that. I heard V5 this whole time.
Well, it's that we can only promise V5.
Right.
Because we didn't do it. So 2 months ago. 2 months ago, we said, okay, you know what? We're gonna drop. I stopped working on the stuff. Ricardo told us to pull him off the air system. Okay, we need to make this happen. We got the whole team together. So I Expo. I either need to know we can do it or not. And I want to be able to promise that. And they did it. It's in the sim. The code is strong. And we also have a bright sheet. I kind of watched to get built. That was part of the plan to make
Sounds like, yeah, let me know when it's done.
Now we have that.
So, okay, I guess.
Real recently, 2020,
They don't anyway.
They said this is Canon
I have no
development, so
idea.
I assume it would have the same
Anything like that,
similar
it's
level
like
of system development as
you're going to do all this externally or with this model or something.
Yeah. All great. All
From
of
what
our
I
pneumatics
know,
hydraulics,
yeah.
fuel, everything.
The
Great.
best
The other
person,
stuff we use for the default stuff is what we have to.
Sir Josh right here.
And I already know you got a whole bunch of, flights.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Well, I'll be posting up a video anyways later on for some other stuff, so check that out later. It all depends on what time I get back to my hotel room, so we'll see. All right, have a good one.
I'll have him answer.
Happy flying.
Majority are